All right, and good morning, everyone. I guess it's 9 o'clock, at least on my clock. So I think let's start, right? So good morning and welcome to today's online seminar, Digital Acceleration for Business Success. My name is Jon Söderlind, and I will be the moderator for today. But more importantly, I have three speakers with me that I will present in a minute. But before we go into that, I'm just going to mention that we have the chat open, of course. And if you have any questions for our speakers, please feel free to just write them down, and I'll try to catch up and ask the questions in the end in the Q&A. So today's speakers. First and foremost, we have the chairman and CEO of Making Science, Jose Antonio Martinez Aguilar, also known as Chama. And we also have not only one, but two CEOs in today's seminar. So we also have Niklas Fröberg, our CEO of Trikona Media. And last but not least, we have our Nordic Digital Director at Trikona Media, Sofia Jernberg. And today's topics. We will start with the short introductions of each company. So first, Chama will tell more about Making Science, and then Niklas will go into Trikona Media. Then Sofia will go through just briefly the Nordic trends of digital media. And after that, we will go into what actually the merge means for the digital industry. And then Chama will continue with the digital acceleration. And then Niklas will tell you more about the strengths and benefits for our customers before we go to the next step. And then if we have time left, of course, the Q&A. So, Chama, could you please give us start by giving us an overview of Making Science?
Yes, of course. Of course, Jon. So first of all, thank you very much to everybody which is attending today. So we are super excited, to doing this seminar, and of course, with the combination we did with the Chrono team. I mean, actually, we've been working with them for almost a year now. I mean, no, it was not announced, but I mean, we were collaborating in different projects for a year, and I think it's a fantastic combination, right? And we'll talk about that a bit more later. So I'll talk to you about Making Science, what we do. So Making Science, we are a marketing and technology company, and we'll be talking today a lot about technology and marketing and how they combine. I mean, we are quite big. We are almost 1,000 persons now. We are more than 900, and we'll be reaching 1,000 during this month. We are present in 12 countries, more than 16 offices, very tech heavy. So out of 1/3 of our people are software engineers or data scientists, because we think it's very relevant for today's marketing ad tech environment. We are a public company. We are a listed company. We are listed in Euronext in Paris and in BME Growth in Paris and we've been growing a lot. I mean, we've been during the last 3 years, we've been in FT 1000 fastest growing companies in Europe. Actually, last year we were the fastest growing company in Europe in the category of marketing and sales. So a lot of growth. And on the right side, you see a lot of focus on tech and ad tech ecosystem. So we have our own products like data quality, ad marking, Gauss. And one of the foundations of our success is our deep partnerships with the leading advertising and technology platforms. Google Marketing Platform. I myself worked for Google for 14 years before founding Making Science, with Meta, with Amazon, and in general with all the ad tech and martech ecosystem, A/B testing platforms, tag management platform, because we think that in today's environment, to be successful in marketing, of course, you need to be very good in marketing, communication, and creativity, but you need to be also very good in the technology and the platform, right? So next slide. In terms of growth, we've been growing a lot. So we been growing organically and inorganically. So last 2 years, we've been expanding our footprint to different countries, to Italy, to France, to the UK, to the US, to Ireland, and now to Georgia, and now to Sweden and Denmark very quickly, and with the idea to become a global player, right? So in the next slide, you can see basically where we are right now. So basically, we want to create a global digital platform where any advertiser, any brand is able to advertise in any country around the world. I mean, advertising is local, but more and more, and we'll be talking later, with the explosion of D2C and of e-commerce, there is possibilities for many brands to sell globally. And when you are selling globally, you need to advertise globally, and you need to be able to support different languages, different platforms in different countries. And you need to be able to effectively bring your campaigns to those countries. So that's our goal, right? So next slide, basically what we want to become, we want to be present in the top 20 advertising markets of the world, right? I mean, I think we're in the process of that. As you can see, the countries where we are now, we have Sweden, there, which according to the statistics is the 20th biggest advertising market of the world, and I'm sure it's accurate, right? But as I said, I think with making science, we want to have a combination of size and strength, but also with the ability to be still very agile and being able to provide the best support and the best agility to our clients. I mean, how do we compete? And if we try to picture in the picture on the right, so, and you see like the nucleus there. So you see digital strategy and technology, and you see making science logo in the middle. Strategy is fundamental because we need to understand our client needs. We need to understand what is the competitive dynamics, how are they successful, the product mix, and we focus a lot on the strategy, and of course then we go to the marketing advertising. But for us, it's important, especially in this more and more competitive environment, to understand what is the business strategy of your clients. And below you have technology. We think today is, if you don't have technology, you can have a fantastic product, but if you are not able to reach the right clients in the right moment, if you don't have a good first party data strategy, you might have a fantastic product, but if you don't have the technology, you won't be able to reach the right consumer, right? So with the understanding of the client strategy and with a very solid technology framework and foundation, then what you see around is satellites and the different capabilities and the different practices that Making Science applies. And we are a 360 partner. So we can provide end-to-end one-stop shop for our clients in everything digital, from e-commerce, ad tech, brand and content, digital advertising, conversion rate optimization, data. And you'll see in the next slide, basically we have one-stop shop, right? In this slide, basically we want to show digital go-to-marketing, from the ideation and the strategy process for your brand, when you are identifying your brand and what's going to be your go-to-market, and then what you need to do in terms of the different activities in order to be able to get that product, that idea, or that campaign to the market. So you will need to develop the platform with UX, UI experience. That app, that web, that campaign needs to go into the platform. So we also develop e-commerce platform, landing pages, websites, right? You need to put then content, production, photos, and video in order to fill those digital assets. And in Making Science, we have also that capabilities. We have also our own content studio where we can produce, shoot, and record, we do a lot of motion graphics as well, right? Then you need to activate those assets. No, go back, John. Sorry. You need to activate those assets, and you activate them in social media with SEO, and also with feed, with generation of feeds if you are doing shopping, and of course with paid media in search, in social, in programmatic, in direct insertion. So we have all those capabilities. And then when that campaign is live, you need to be able to measure, right? So we have a very strong practice in analytics, dashboarding, big data. Now also machine learning and AI. So a big team there. So you cannot only measure what's going on, but you can also predict what's going to happen. And on the right side, also a very strong practice on first-party data and customer management. So we are also a partner with Salesforce and with Hotspot, and we have capabilities there in order to be able to leverage the your existing customer segments for cross-selling, and also the data in order to be more effective in your campaigns, right? So as you can see, with Making Sense, we can do end-to-end. Next. In terms of our clients, so we have did you go to next slide? Yes. So we work with big brands, international brands. We work with them with some of them in globally in many countries. You know, for example, with Santander. For example, we've been working with Santander in the Nordics for more than 4 years now. We work with very sure with Securitas also. We work with them globally, and we have big brands like Carrefour, like Santander, Decathlon, IKEA. We work with IKEA, for example. We are the IKEA partner for Google Cloud as well, right? So we work with big clients, typically with big problems, and with the capabilities that I was outlining, and I'm going to see in the next slide, we're able to provide with them solutions, right? In terms of where our people is, so basically we, as I was explaining, we are trying to have people around the world, because with the people around the world, we can provide the different time zone support. We can provide language support, and we can provide also local understanding and context of the local media. As we are very strong Google platform, we are a Google marketing platform reseller, so we put a lot of focus in terms of the certification and the qualification of our consultants. Right. Next. In terms of what we do, and you saw a bit before in the slide where we were showing the go-to-market, the value chain. In this slide, you can see the different practices or departments that we have at Making Science. On the left side, in the pink side, you have the more traditional or the more marketing services, and on the right side, the more tech and data capabilities of Making Science. And we can, and you'll see later, we have the capability to deliver services on these specific practices around the world. So in the advertising area, we have 4 specialty groups: digital branding, e-commerce and marketplace advertising, and also a group that does omni-channel and lead gen, a specialization on digital advertising, and a programmatic team, right? And we also have teams that are experts in brand strategy, you know, with doing audience analysis, consumer insights, communication strategy. Also a strong group on social and influencer, right? So we run also a lot of campaigns on influencer. Digital creativity, very important. And digital creativity team work very close with the digital advertising teams. So we are very nimble and very fast in terms of adapting the different creative to the different campaigns and to the different channels, right? Seo and content team, very important as well, because it's, as I always say, almost free traffic, and also a team of marketing automation for email marketing and content. That's on the advertising side. And in the data and ad tech, so a very strong and analytics and tag management, Google marketing platform, right? Data ops and first party data, so a very strong group of data engineers and data scientists, which are experts in working with the client's first party data, collecting that data, manipulating that data in order to make it legal, for example, for GDPR, and activating that data in the different platforms, Salesforce practice. And here this is like the more technology engineering side, so a DevOps team, we are also Google reseller in the cloud, software development, and UX UI team for the design, right? And so we develop a lot of apps and a lot of websites for clients as well, right? So with that, what we can provide is for any of you, for any clients, basically, when you have needs in the different areas, so we can provide the service. And very important, one of the keys of Making Science is this is not different companies, it's the single company. So the teams in the consultants in the different departments know what the other people do, right? So there is like a 360 view that they have of what's going on. So in a client, what we are doing 4 or 5 things, the team works together. So in the end, what happens is that there is a lot of cross-fertilization and osmosis among the information and innovation and ideation about the different teams, right? And as I said, we have these services, and now Trecronor, we can offer all these services for the Nordics market. Next one. And to finish, partnerships. The advertising landscape is dominated by technology and data today, and we have a very strong partnership strategy. So we have programs with Google, with Meta, with Microsoft, with Amazon, with Content Square, with different all the platforms, TikTok. So Dynamic Yield, very strong partner also in A/B testing with Dynamic Yield, which basically we are on top of the latest innovation and roadmaps for all the platforms, and we are providing them to clients. And I think it's just a key thing for us. We have a lot of focus in having the people certified, so they are experts in the platforms, and they're able to provide fantastic solutions, right? So this is basically what is making science. As I said, we are super excited about the combination with Chrono and the opportunities that we bring to the market. And thank you.
Thank you very much, Hama. So Niklas, what about Trikona Media? Could you give us please give us a quick overview of the company?
Of course. Thank you, Jama. And also most welcome to the participants today. Of course, I saw there's a lot of our dear customers also attending, which is great. So you know Trikona Media, but we launched 2007. And as you know, we're focused on business and result oriented with 100%. We also started in Copenhagen in Denmark 2013. And we are a full service agency with media performance and strategy today. Of course, we are very proud because it's our clients judge that we have been awarded the Media Agency of the Year. I think it's 9 times the last 11 years, so that's fine. And then we are also awarded a certified Great Place to Work 2018 to 20. Next slide, please. So as an overview, just looking for Trikona, we have offices today in Stockholm, Gothenburg, Malmö, and Copenhagen. And we also work closely with partners in Oslo and Helsinki. So we are doing for a lot of clients also Nordic service. And the areas we mainly focus on today is programmatic, insight research, strategy, offline media, SEM, data-driven insights, and digital media. But also saying that, as you saw from Jama's presentation, we will add a lot of new services and actually already have. Next slide, please. For sure, the best of other things working with this is our proudness of our clients, and we have a broad portfolio from many major well-known brands like Skistar, BMW, Lyko. So we are very happy with that, and it's a broad portfolio where some of them are Nordic clients. Next slide. Yeah, so thanks, and going over then to do John.
Yeah, thank you, Niklas. So before we go into the merge and what it actually means for the industry, Sophia will give us some brief update on the Nordic trends and the ecosystem in the Nordics. So Sophia, how would you say that the Sweden and all the Nordics compare to the rest of the world when it comes to digital competitiveness, so to speak?
Yes, well, John, all the Nordic markets are within the top 10 worldwide when it comes to digital competitiveness, with Sweden on 3rd place. And we're also ranking among the highest in the European Union when it comes to general digital skills in the public, access to good internet connection, but also like how far our businesses have come when it comes to integrating technology and taking steps into the digital transformation. So this also puts a demand on us as an agency to meet this and be there for our clients when they want to evolve. So a few rising platforms and formats in the Nordics. We have Twitch is growing. Twitch is a streaming platform for gamers. We have TikTok. Obviously, TikTok is growing very fast and has proven to be effective in all phases of the consumer journey funnel. I believe Hama will talk some about TikTok as well. And Reddit is actually a very old internet community. So you might think that Reddit would have disappeared by now, but it's actually growing, and they are evolving their advertising capabilities and also their data. And Discord is a communication platform mainly used by gamers. And some growing social formats are audio-based social networking, customer support through social media, and also a lot of brands are focusing on creating experiences using technology. And then, of course, we have live streaming and social shopping. And the social shopping is something that I wanted to go a bit more deeper into. So actually 22% of people in the Nordics have shopped on social media several times. 18% of social shoppers have shared their products after they bought it on social media. And the age group that is most active in social shopping is really climbing up in the ages and growing in size. So now it's 18 to 39 years old, most active here. And 42% of the people in the Nordics experienced pain points during online shopping. And this has almost doubled since 2019. And this really indicates that our consumers here, they expect a seamless transaction and a very easy and quick pathway to get to their desired action or completion. And we really need to meet these demands from our clients because these are demands that is also pushed from the platforms themselves. So not meeting them will send you back in several regions at once, so to say. So companies really need to create these seamless customer journeys from key touch points to deliver truly tailored online experience and recognize that social media and the social platforms is core to the business and not just an extension of the brand. So, and obviously there is a big focus on first-party data here in the Nordics as well. And this is a reaction to say from the changes that's happening and the loss that will be from third-party cookies. So some emerging developments here are new predictive models. Some are already in use now and some are being tested. And also many brands are really focusing on like building their client data and their first-party data. And to do this and to actually receive the data from the customers, they have realized that they need to give something back. So many brands are focusing on what value or gamification they can create to the customers for the customers to give them their data. And of course, we have some ongoing privacy concerns and big developments with the big tech firms. There are some trials going on with Google, GDPR issues, and we really need to stay very in tune and updated on all these developments and adapt our strategies to whatever the outcome is, because even smaller things affect how we need to work, basically. So as an alternative to the solutions that we have today with the third-party cookies and how we can target and optimize and measure, many advertisers here are looking into other solutions such as ID solution, which is cookieless solutions, cohorts, and also contextual targeting. But the key is to really not wait. The key is to try out these new solutions right now and to gather the insight and data to be able to compare, like, what is the difference in the results I'm getting from these new solutions compared to the solutions that we already are using, so that when the loss of the third-party cookies happen and the old solutions go away, we are prepared and we know how to analyze the results of the new solutions. So yes, basically we need to develop a clear data strategy, we need to create value for the customer, and we need to ensure robust tech capabilities such as customer data platforms, DMPs, or whatever is most suitable for this specific brand, basically. And that is also why we at 3 Kronor are so very happy to be a part of Making Science right now. So so that we are actually able to help and assist our clients in taking these very important next step in their digital transformation.
Thank you so much, Sofia. So basically, with this very interesting situation in the Nordics when it comes to digital acceleration, I would say that there are lots of obvious reasons behind the merge. But please, Hama, could you tell a little bit more why specifically Trikona Media?
Yeah, no, Trekronor is been the agency of the year for many years in Sweden, which means it's a fantastic agency with a fantastic team, with a fantastic founders. So there is a no-brainer. It's very clear, right? So when we were looking at what was going to be our strategy in the Nordics, and we had starting having the conversation with Niklas and Lars, I mean, it was very clear that was a fantastic company. And Sofia was explaining, like, definitely Sweden and the Nordics are leading in digital capabilities and competence, right? And you might wonder what Making Science brings to the table, right? And I think it's right. I think Making Science brings two things, right? Mainly, one is our relationship with the global platforms, right? I mean, Google, Meta, Amazon, and Microsoft, all these companies have a local relationship, local teams, and are providing fantastic support in the region, right? But when you are a global player like we are, you start having a relationship, which are deeper, right? Because you are also a relevant element in their implementation strategy for all these platforms, right? For example, we have access to much more betas, alphas of products. We are able to influence and to talk to the product managers, right? So that's a benefit. So that's going to give us in the Nordics a time advantage in terms of know the roadmap of the products and be able to test alphas and betas with clients. For example, to give you an example, Google Analytics 4, GA4, which was launched, I think, was last year ago. At Making Science, we were testing the alpha and the beta version 18 months before it was launched to the market, right? So one thing is the relationship with the global platforms will give us a time advantage in terms of knowing the products and the innovation faster, right? And the second one, in terms of capabilities, is we are very strong in data, ad tech, and software, right? I mean, there are companies like us, global, that are competing in our category, and they have less technology capabilities. Right now, Sofia was explaining first-party data, the cookies disappearing in terms of the capability to target with cookies and IDs and so on. Having capabilities with first-party data engineers, implementation of CDPs, attribution, measurement, I think it's an advantage, right? So I think it's a fantastic combination, right? Because it's Trekronor is known to be a leading agency, fantastic support, fantastic insights, fantastic strategy, and Making Science will provide some specific things which are going to make it even better. That's what I think.
Thank you. And just really short, Niklas, I know you will go through the actual strengths and benefits for the customers, but what excites you the most about this merge?
No, it's really, like, in a way already told that, to be able to serve our clients totally 360 on the customer journey, we need to add these competences today and really to make sure that we can do all these parts for our clients. So it's a perfect match, a match in heaven. Thanks.
Thank you.
Welcome to the world of digital acceleration. Digital transformation is good. Digital acceleration is better. Technology is bringing unlimited opportunities to companies. This process is moving faster and faster, and the only way to compete is to accelerate. The faster you move, the more opportunities you will be able to seize. At Making Science, we help our clients to move faster and to keep accelerating so they are better able to take advantage of digital opportunities. That is our mission.
All right, so digital acceleration, this is something we have been talking about for the last couple of, let's say, 10 years or so. But the pandemic, of course, was like a huge driver when it comes to speeding up this acceleration. So Hama, could you please tell us more about digital acceleration and what does it mean in this current situation in the Nordics and the world as well?
Fantastic. Yes, definitely, John. Thank you. So, I mean, we produced this video and basically we call ourselves the digital acceleration company. Yes, because we think, I mean, transformation is good, but acceleration is better, right? So basically what we want to stress is the case of not just transform, like the worm that transforms into the butterfly, but basically you save your form, but also the ability to run faster, right? In digital transformation, basically it's a lot of technology and culture. In technology, basically what you do is you change your physical assets, you know, like your shops and your buildings, and you transform into digital assets like a website, like an app, and also in data assets, right? So you can do data machine learning, right? And it's good, right? But it's like changing your car, right? So you change your car from a traditional car to a faster car, right? But it's good. But if you keep driving your car at the same speed in the same way, basically you are going to get the same results, right? So the key here is to be able to move faster, right? And we will see in the next slides why you need to go faster. Go next slide. So in terms of what do we see digital acceleration, is a state of mind, right? So basically what we need is a state of mind, and not just change the technology, not just change. And I like this definition by Amit Sabri, who is the VP of Head of Platform at Google Cloud, right? So it's a state of perpetual agility and being able to react very quickly, right? Because now a lot of the competition happens in time, right? Because having your digital assets, it's not going to be enough for you to differentiate. You need to be able to use those assets in a fast way. Next slide. So what are the four forces that are driving acceleration and digital acceleration, right? So because some of them are digital transformation, like the computing, the internet, and so on. But the combination of smartphone access, right, which now basically 80 or 90% of the access for most websites happens from the mobile phone, which means you can access from anywhere. So it means you don't need to go home, right? So that means faster, right? So when you only had the desktop access, you would have to be in the office or you'll be in your home to do something. Now you can do anywhere, so it means that more speed, right? Global connectivity and 5G means that you're going to be able to do it from anywhere and in a faster way. The cloud means that you don't need to buy and to build a lot of assets to launch a company, right? With the cloud, the cloud provides you with instant, so very fast scalability to any company which is launching. And then artificial intelligence accelerates learning, right? Companies learn, people learn, artificial intelligence machines learning, so makes faster, right? So all these four forces makes that reality and things happen faster, and also for companies, so meaning competition goes very, very quickly. Next slide. One example would be adoption. We were talking about adoption of platforms, right? So you see how long it took to the different platforms to reach 1 billion users, in this case of social platforms. So you see Facebook, it crossed the line of the 1 billion after 7 years. WhatsApp crossed it in 6 years. WeChat crossed it in 5, and you see TikTok now crossing it in 2 years, right? So there is consumer adoption is faster and faster. Why? Because they are enabled to be fast, right? Because they have the connectivity, they have the desire, they have the mobile phone, and so with and there is a distribution of the app. So what happens is like everything is faster, right? And also it happens to competition. Go next slide. So an example is D2C brands. Right now, in the past, if you wanted to launch a direct-to-consumer brand, you would have to, of course, do the design, do the production, but then you will need to do a lot of heavy distribution to the retail networks, right? And that took years, and that created also a lot of entry barriers, right? Now, competition and some of the biggest brands, especially in the beauty, jewelry, and apparel accessories categories, are starting to suffer, right? So because they are losing market share not to the traditional competitors, but to more nimble and fast companies that basically are enabled by those four forces that I was telling before. So basically, they are able to design fast, produce fast, distribute fast, and learn very, very fast. And if you are a more traditional company that don't have those capabilities or is not leveraging these four forces, you will lose a lot of opportunities and you will lose market share. Next slide. One interesting example is Zara. You know that it was famous because they were able to compete in a speed, right, in the fast fashion category. So they became famous because they were able to do a design to store in 3 weeks. They were able to do the inventory turns 12 times a year versus 3-4, which a traditional retailer would do. They were producing 450 million products per year, and they are very big now. They're 25 billion, and they're growing, I think, 10%. But now we see new animals, new competitors, new cheetahs, as we saw, very fast. So they are even capable of going faster, right? Because they are able to do design to store in 1.5 weeks. They are in China. The inventory turns, they do much more because since they sell a lot and they don't have a lot of inventory, so they're able to do 20 turns of inventory. The next data point is incredible, right? So basically, they add 2,000 to 10,000 designs in the per day, or looks, different looks, combination of looks, right? Why? Because they are a mobile app, and they have their operation in China. And basically, they are able to test with basically hundreds of millions of users every day their products, right? Versus with Zara, of course, they have their web, the internet, and everything, and the e-commerce. But they started doing the innovation and the trend setting and the fast fashion, doing basically watching trends in the shops, right? And they are already 10 billion in revenue, and they are growing. Last year, they grew 30-40%, right? So it might not be unlikely that the same way that Amazon in the multi-category distribution was a leader, that in 5 years the leader in worldwide apparel is not going to be Zara or H&M. Is going to be Shein. Why? Because they've been able to leverage and to compete faster, right? So, and this is interesting. This is a research of Deloitte Insights that we are asking different executives in different industry. In the next 5 years, who do you expect will be your company's main competitor? And they were asking a current competitor, an existing non-digital company, but as you can see, 52% were thinking that an emerging startup or existing digital native company will be their main competitor, right? And when you do an analysis and see what happened in all categories, it is real, right? So we need to be able not to just to transform ourselves and convert us into a butterfly, but we need to be a very fast butterfly or a cheetah, right? So that how does affect to advertisers and our business. So next slide. So I'm highlighting four areas, right? One is the tech and data infrastructure, right? This is a slide that we use internally, which basically, and with clients as well. This is in all these boxes basically is we try to draw what it takes and what kind of platforms and what kind of data you need to have to be a cutting edge digital player, right? So you need to have marketing automation, you need to have an analytics engine, you need very strong reporting, you need to have very strong content management and digital assets, very strong activation in the different platforms, right? And all the channels and media. And in below, you need to have very strong data management with data structure, data, traditional assets, and so on. What's not happening here is that this category changed very quickly, right? So if you are late or you don't have a platform that allows you to do very good, fast marketing automation, there is going to be a competitor of you which is going to have it, right? It's going to have it faster. And the very fact of being not very fast or not having the platform is going to remove some market share from you. Next area of why you need to be fast and not just transform. The next slide, please. Is the area of data and regulation, right? Regulation is changing a lot. We see here basically in this chart what's going on with the regulation of GDPR in Europe and the impact on, so this is before any regulation in 200, what happens in 2020, and what's going to happen in basically from last year and before. Basically, measurement is being heavily affected by regulation. So you need to have a lot of consents to your consumers in order to collect their data. You need to do a lot of adaptation in your measurement platforms to measure right, so you don't lose data measurement. You need to do a lot of adaptations to be able to use that data for the future for customer activation. So you need to do that. You need to transform. But what happens if you do it very slow, right? So, for example, if you don't do a very fast adaptation to conversion API from Meta, right, to measure to measure conversions, or if you don't do a fast adaptation to consent mode for Google, what happens is that in the period that you don't do that, you lose a lot of data. And if you lose a lot of data and your voice has a lot of measurement, what's going to happen is you are going to be able to activate less data for your consumer. You are going to make less sales, right? So the lack of speed in the regulatory environment is going to create also an impact on your business, and you are going to lose market share. And the third area where I think it's very important to be fast as well is basically channels. So next slide. So, for example, influencer marketing, to see how it's growing in the last few years. So, influencer marketing, we'll see TikTok in the next slide, is a new channel, right? So, if you are slow in new channel adoption, what basically happens, and you are not having the capabilities, or you are not able to have the right partners to execute for you those capabilities, what happens is that there is a new channel which has audience, which typically new channels which are not very competitive are cheaper, right? So brands and advertisers that have been fast to adopt new channels are able to benefit from a new channel which has a lot of audience, which is cheaper because it's less competition, which means that you are going to have an impact on having less market share as well. Same thing, next slide, with TikTok, right? So TikTok is being super fast. You saw in the first slide, right? It's been growing very quickly. Some brands have been very fast, some brands have been very slow, right? But the fact is that it has huge audience, very good ROI. So this is the results of a survey in the US, Australia, Canada, Germany, France, and basically, and you can see this, according to that survey, the ROI was better than YouTube, right? And close to Instagram, right? So a lack of speed in adopting new media and new channels, will create you an impact in your market share and your ability to grow, right? So just to finish, next slide. So basically, we at Making Science, we call ourselves a digital acceleration company because we help our clients not just to transform, which basically is adopt technology and change our culture to be more fast, to be faster. But also we help you. We help you, and we do the journey with you in order to accelerate your transformation and to be faster, where we think is the competition of the future. And that's basically digital acceleration. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Chama. So all this interesting information is, of course, giving our audience the key for business success. But for you, Niklas, what would you say are the actual benefits for our customers due to the merge between Making Science and Tricona Media?
To be able to answer that, I think just a little bit background and about this merger also is that, media agencies in the history have always been very good to drive customers to the website or to the store. And then after that, actually, we leave that to other consultants and other suppliers to do the work when it comes to CRM, first-part data, and that. And obviously, if you can integrate that in totally one service, it should strengthen the work for our clients and also in a better way of cost. If you take the next slide, please. The four main areas where we've been a lot of possibilities is obviously ad tech services, outsourcing, data cross-selling, and strengthening teams and digital capabilities. But if looking at that as overall, going into more 5 major areas, if you take the next slide. So for sure, the first part is new digital capabilities. Because we boost our digital offering and by adding a full part of portfolio of possibilities, as already mentioned earlier today. Really important, as also mentioned from Yama about the merger, we get a stronger partnership with global media actors. We are really, if you look from a survey from European advertisers just published before Christmas, the most concern for advertisers is that if their agencies are close enough to Google and Meta and other tech companies. And that's for sure we are now, together with Making Science. As also already mentioned, we are now a really full service offer, 360. And it's important to really say that again, we are still a Trikona company with all the business and success we have been doing with our clients. But this is the possibilities that we already today can add all this other competence with excellent colleagues within Making Science. And we already have some of the colleagues here since September, for example, Anna and Jorge. So we're already working, as mentioned, in a lot of new projects. Then cannot talk about this without the possibility and the effectiveness with integration. For me, when I talk with a lot of our clients, advertisers, it's a lot of partners around the table sometimes. You have the CRM experts or consultants around that part. We have the media agency, they have the advertising agency. And sometimes it's not maybe everything is in the best book for the client's need. So at least we believe strongly in the integration. If you have one full service partner and one team, you can really work seamless and do it in the best way for the client. And last 5 point, operate globally. A lot of me and my colleagues knows that sharing best practice and best competence all over the world is always much better than trying to invent the wheel all the time for our clients. So I'm absolutely sure that's going to be also one of the benefits. Next slide. So should I go on then to next step, John?
Yeah, please do.
Yeah. We already have started a lot of projects with some of our clients, and that is called a process that is DAP, Digital Acceleration Process, where we actually do a lot of internal audits and checkouts in these business areas for our clients, where we also have already start booking meetings, where we come out and talk and present what we have seen that we can actually help to do some parts better. We're also gonna arrange, a tour of meetings that we really present the new competences. And I really would like to say that as one question I had, okay, when are you up to speed to really service this? And actually the answer is we already are. We already have done a lot of projects because we are a global company with people in different hubs, different countries, and we can travel all over because this is not a language issue. It's about data and competence. So it's so exciting. And again, doing this together with Making Science and all new colleagues, it's a great challenge and a great future working together. Thank you.
Thank you, Niklas. And time flies. Actually, we have passed the 45 minutes a couple of minutes ago. So let's have a really, really brief Q&A. Actually, we had a question in the chat. But before we go into that question, just very briefly, with all this in mind that you have been talking about today, what should actually marketers do to react to this with their marketing plans? If somebody wants to answer that, what should they do right now?
I mean, if I might answer, I think you need to be fast and you need to look at where you have gaps and where you have opportunities, right? I mean, Niklas, for example, one of the things we've been doing with all of many of the clients is looking at the privacy, and the consent and how are they ready in terms of GDPR, right? It's something that at first glance, it might not be relevant for the ROI, right? Because when you think about media plans and advertising, you think how big is the budget? How much are you going to invest, right? But something which is as simple, how are you designing the consent window in your pop-up in your website. How are you implementing the changes? It's going to impact how much you measure and how much you are able to activate in the plan, right? So I think you need to have a strong digital agenda for sure, because consumers, after the pandemic, definitely consumers has much more embracing the digital platforms, and make sure you don't have gaps, which creates a problem, especially with the platform. As Niklas was saying, you need to have a super optimized strategy with Meta, super optimized strategy with Google, YouTube, and programmatic, right? Because that's going to be, 50-60% of your digital media plan, right? And so make sure you don't have a lot of gaps in that area.
Thank you. And just the last question from the chat, actually. It's from Christopher Larsson. He asked, do you have an attribution modeling to adapt for the customers? Maybe for you, Sofia.
Yeah, well, I think Shama can answer this as well, because at Making Science, they have a lot of own technology and AI models and attribution models. And we are most definitely able to use this for the Nordic markets as well. Do you want to add something here, Shama?
Yeah, definitely. No, definitely we do a lot of attribution model for clients, right? Definitely we have a lot of for the digital platforms. So we collect data from Meta, from Google, from the different platforms, from DV360, and we create custom models for our clients. And in the case of full omni-channel companies, we also take data from the TV panels and from the radio panels, and we build that, right? So definitely we do that, and we have done a lot of attribution models for our clients, right? And now there is a very interesting, I would say, it's not great, but it is what it is, right? Like attribution has been in the last 4 or 5 years was user-based attribution models. Now, with the latest changes, needs to be changed a bit, So you need to actually it's going back in history a bit more and going more to volumetric and linear models, time-based models. But yeah, definitely we have that, and we definitely want to do. We'll start doing some projects, with existing attribution for the current clients.
Thank you so much. I wish we could sit here for like an hour at least, just discuss these parts, but I'm not going to hold anyone hostage. So thank you so much, and thank you everyone for listening, and thank you, of course, to all the speakers. So take care, everyone, and bye-bye.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you.